Now, if you live in downtown Toronto or possibly Vancouver, you may find it hard to believe that the best-selling vehicle in North America is not a car, but rather a pickup truck. And currently, that would be the Ford F-150. And the pickup world is pretty exciting these days with Ford, GM, and Ram all out with new product. But these are what they call heavy-duty and light-duty full-size pickup trucks. There is another segment in the pickup truck world. It is known as midsize. Ford, Ram, and until recently GM abandoned this segment. The result? They left close to 300,000 sales to Nissan and Toyota. Well, this week we are in beautiful, sunny Southern California. And you know, they say we're not here for a long time, but a good time. Well, boy, it's easy to have a good time out here. And the reason we are here is GM would like to announce to the world it is returning to the mid-size segment. So we're here to find out why the change in plans, and is this segment big enough for 3 players?
The 2015 Chevrolet Colorado.
Mid-size segment were started by the Japanese in the 70s. It really took off. The Americans emulated it. And yet, then in the 80s and the 90s, we went into this big is better thing, and a lot of those trucks fell off. The Japanese have maintained their foothold in there, and the Americans have finally looked at that and said, no, you know what, we want to get back into this again, and GM's the first one back to the table, and because of that, they're going to get a nice piece of pie.
There's 12.5 million current drivers of mid-sized trucks on the road. But it's not just about those current owners. There's a lot of people that didn't have a choice, and they went off to sedans and SUVs. So we really expect a lot of those guys to come back into the truck market because now they've got something that has all the amenities that they had in some of their crossovers.
There's this audience, this group of folks who wants pickup capability and versatility, but don't want the size. And they want better fuel economy. They want it at a lower price than a full-size truck. So a smaller truck that's more maneuverable, easier to live with. God forbid it fits in your garage, actually. There's an audience for that.
This is a fully boxed frame. It is stiff. This truck's sitting on its side. We picked it up by this front wheel, and the whole truck comes up together because we've got a solid frame and we can do that. We also go ahead and integrate the trailer hitch into the frame system. We mount it up here and down at the bottom. It's integral to the bumper. This is your heavy duty package with the receiver on it. This truck will tow 7,000 pounds, and we've got about 1,600 pounds of capacity for payload.
We got 2 great powertrains. We have a base 4-cylinder, 2.5 liter, 200 horsepower, 191 pound-feet of torque, and then the V6 for more capability. 305 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. 2 great powertrains. The automatic transmissions are 6 speeds for both, and then there is a manual that will go with the 4-cylinder on extended cab models as an option.
Now, I'm not the truck guy in Motoring TV. I leave that to Bill and Howard, but I do know what I like. Like this step up. They brought it in with the Sierra and the Silverado. It's simple, but it's brilliant. The tailgate, nope, comes down nice and quiet. And speaking of quiet, it also comes with a factory-installed spray-in bed liner, so things aren't banging around and sliding around and making all sorts of noise. Now, I can hear you working men and women with the full-size pickup saying, who cares? It's a pickup truck. Well, in this segment, they do care. They like the refinement, and this vehicle gives it to them.
GMC is going to be the kind of traditional truck cues, but a lot more premium. And you can see that in the grille, the bright grille work, the larger headlights, projector beam headlights with the LED signature. On the other hand, we wanted the Colorado to have that feel of an active vehicle. So when you see the Colorado front end, it's got a lot more shape to it. We said the headlights are almost like wraparound sunglasses. So that really, we think, did a good job positioning them to where there's some really good differentiation between the two.
Fuel economy is probably one of the top priorities for this particular model, and it's going to achieve that. Nice little V6, little inline 4, and yet you can still tow 7,000 pounds, drive 4 people. What more do you want?
Now these trucks come with all the latest in active and passive safety and of course lots of connectivity. And speaking of that, these trucks are now a Wi-Fi hotspot, which means you and your kids and all your friends are connected 24/7. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'll let you decide.
The Japanese should be worried because they've owned the market for the last couple of years. Consequently, they haven't had to spend any money. And their designs are old, the engines are old, there's nothing wrong with them, but in a world where it's always what's next, they haven't done any of that. So yeah, they're gonna have to get busy, and probably next year we'll see at least a new Tacoma.
Anything you'd like to say to the folks over at Toyota and Nissan?
They probably know everything that I could tell them by now, but they're now looking at somebody who's kind of leapfrogged their product. So we'll see what happens.
So has General Motors made the right decision in returning to the midsize market? You're darn right they have. I mean, why would you leave a pool of between 250 and 300,000 sales to Toyota and Nissan? And as Howard said earlier, those guys have got to spend some money to update their product. I like this truck. It's quiet. I would go with the V6, but you know, the biggest appeal of this segment is size. You don't get intimidated like you do with those big heavy-duty vehicles. You can drive it around town and you can park it in an underground garage or your own garage. What's not to like about that?